Uruguay, the land of the East. Facts and curiosities you didn't know about this fascinating country. Did you know that Uruguay, despite being one of the smallest countries in South America, has left an indelible mark on world culture? Can you imagine that a country with only 3,600,000 inhabitants could be a pioneer in human rights, sustainability, and have a cuisine so delicious that it has conquered palates around the world? If you've ever overlooked the fascinating land of Eastern South America, now is the perfect time to discover all its secrets. From its unique history to its lesser-known curiosities, Uruguay has much more than meets the eye. Do you dare to know the facts and curiosities you didn't know about this incredible country? Join us on this tour and get ready to be amazed by all that Uruguay has to offer. Let's discover it together. Uruguay, the little jewel of the Southern Cone, is a country full of history, culture, dazzling landscapes, and curiosities that many do not know. Although it tends to go unnoticed by those who focus on South American powerhouses like Brazil and Argentina, Uruguay has a unique identity, combining the best of tradition with modernity, and the urban with the natural. Today we invite you to discover surprising and fascinating aspects of this corner of the world, where people enjoy an enviable quality of life and a way of life that attracts more and more people looking for a place full of peace, culture, and beauty. From its independence in 1825 to its present day as one of the most advanced countries in terms of human rights, democracy, and quality of life, Uruguay has been a model of development in the region. However, there are many facts and curiosities about this country that will probably surprise you. If you ever thought you knew everything about Uruguay, think again. In this tour of the land of the East, you will discover some stories and figures you may never have imagined. Uruguay occupies 2.7% of South America's territory, with an area of 176,215 square kilometers. Although it is not the largest country in the region, its size is perfect for exploring every corner without feeling overwhelmed by the distances. Compared to other countries in the continent, Uruguay has a small population of approximately 3,600,000 inhabitants. This makes for a low population density, which translates into green spaces, empty beaches, and a sense of tranquility rarely found in other countries. Despite its size, Uruguay has proven to have a great influence on Latin American politics and culture. It was the first country in Latin America to adopt women's suffrage in 1932, a milestone in the struggle for women's rights. It was also the first to decriminalize abortion, legalize same-sex marriage, and, most recently, regulate the sale of marijuana in 2013. These social advances reflect the progressive nature of the country, which has been a pioneer in several aspects in the region. With 660 kilometers of coastline, Uruguay is a privileged destination for sea and beach lovers. Although not as well known as Brazil for its endless coastline, the country has some of the most beautiful and quiet beaches in South America. Punta del Este is undoubtedly the most famous beach, known for its luxury, exclusive atmosphere, and nightlife. But it is not the only one. Beaches such as La Paloma, José Ignacio, and Punta del Diablo are popular destinations for both locals and international tourists. If crowds are not your thing, Uruguay offers you places farther away from the big cities, where you can enjoy the sun, the crystal clear water, and the serenity of nature. One of the lesser-known curiosities is that Uruguay has the most beaches per capita in South America, which means that, with only 3,600,000 inhabitants, the country owns a large number of kilometers of coastline to enjoy in a more exclusive and quiet way than in other more crowded destinations. Montevideo, the country's capital, is one of the most charming cities in South America. With a relaxed pace, architecture that blends classic and modern, and a rich cultural life, the city has something for everyone. Montevideo is famous for its Rambla, a 13.5 kilometers promenade that runs along the coast, ideal for walking, cycling, or simply enjoying the scenery. In addition, the city has a vibrant nightlife, full of bars, restaurants, and, of course, the traditional Uruguayan paraladas. If you are a music lover, you cannot miss the Candom, one of the most emblematic cultural manifestations of the country. Candom has African roots and is characterized by the rhythm of drums, a unique dance and a colorful parade, especially during the Montevideo Carnival, which is one of the longest in the world. In fact, the Uruguayan Carnival lasts more than 40 days, making it one of the most anticipated celebrations in the region. Soccer is the king of sports in Uruguay, and it is impossible to talk about this country without mentioning its great achievements in the history of the sport. Uruguay was the first country to win the FIFA World Cup in 1930, in a tournament held on its own soil. Furthermore, in 1950, it achieved a historic victory against Brazil in the famous Maracanazo, when the Uruguayan team defeated Brazil in the final of the World Cup in Rio de Janeiro, an achievement that went down in the history of world soccer. The country is also known for its passion for rugby, and Uruguayans are great fans of the sport, which has been gaining more and more followers, especially at the youth level. The national team, known as the Teros, has been part of several World Cups, which shows that rugby is another sport with a great tradition in Uruguay. Uruguay is one of the most stable and prosperous countries in Latin America, with a gross domestic product, GDP, per capita of approximately $17,000. Despite being a small nation, its economy is based on the export of high-quality agricultural and livestock products, such as beef and soybeans. Uruguay is also known for its growing software and technology industry, and its government has made a strong commitment to innovation and the development of new technologies. This approach has turned Uruguay into a hub for startups and entrepreneurs, especially in Montevideo. Uruguay is also a world reference in terms of social welfare. The healthcare system, for example, is one of the most advanced in the region. In addition, public education is free and of high quality, which has led the country to have a 98% literacy rate. Safety and quality of life are also outstanding, with Montevideo being one of the quietest cities in Latin America. Another of the most interesting curiosities is the fact that Uruguay is one of the countries with the most trees per capita in the world. Although its territory is mostly flat and does not have the imposing mountains of its neighbors, Uruguay's green areas and forests are impressive. The country has worked on reforestation and biodiversity preservation projects, creating national parks and nature reserves that allow for a rich diversity of flora and fauna. Tango, one of the world's most famous music and dance styles, has Uruguayan roots. Although today it is mainly associated with Argentina, tango was born in the Rio de la Plata, and both Buenos Aires and Montevideo compete for the title of Cradle of Tango. In Montevideo, you can find multiple tango houses, and the tradition of this genre is still alive in the streets of the capital. Also, if you are a wine lover, Uruguay is known for its production of Tannat wine, a native grape that has gained international recognition. Uruguayan wine has been gaining ground in the global market, and its quality has been awarded in several international competitions. If you have ever enjoyed a good wine with a meal, a Uruguayan Tannat could be the perfect choice to accompany it. Uruguay is also home to a rich gastronomy, which goes beyond the famous asado. Although meat is indisputably one of the star dishes, Uruguayan cuisine offers a variety of flavors. Chivitos, a meat sandwich, usually beef, with ham, cheese, and egg, and empanadas are some of the most popular dishes, along with dulce de leche, which is present in most of the country's traditional desserts. One of the most remarkable aspects of Uruguay is its natural environment. The country has a rich biodiversity, ranging from forests and lakes in the interior to the rich marine fauna on the coast. A must-see is the Santa Teresa National Park, in the department of Rocha, which is home to an incredible variety of both terrestrial and aquatic species. The islands of Bahia de los Dedos and Cabo Polonio, for example, are other destinations where contact with nature is the highlight. In terms of transportation, Uruguay stands out for having one of the most efficient and modern public transportation networks in Latin America. The urban bus system is widely used in Montevideo and other cities, facilitating mobility. In addition, the cargo railway system, which transports agricultural and livestock products, connects Uruguay with important ports on the Atlantic, which makes the country's economy benefit from its strategic location on the continent. Finally, if we talk about national sports, we cannot fail to mention the famous beach soccer. On the Uruguayan coasts, especially in the city of Montevideo, beach soccer is played with passion, and the Uruguayan national team has been a true reference in this sport, winning several international titles. Uruguay, the land of the East, is a country that always has something new to offer. From its unique history and culture to its advances in human rights and unparalleled natural beauty, Uruguay is a unique and fascinating place that continues to surprise those lucky enough to discover it. Often underestimated by those who do not know it well, this small country has managed to position itself as an example of modernity, progress, and well-being in Latin America. Although many are still unaware of the magnitude of its cultural, social, and economic influence, Uruguay has been a reference in several aspects, from its leadership in human rights to its impressive biodiversity. The country is also famous for its agriculture, especially meat production, which has earned a worldwide reputation for its quality. Uruguay is one of the world's largest beef exporters, and its cattle ranching is known for its sustainable practices and animal welfare. Largely due to its temperate climate and vast fields, Uruguayan beef stands out for its flavor and texture, which has placed Uruguay among the top countries in the global food industry. In fact, Uruguayan beef is so highly prized that many of the most exclusive restaurants around the world offer cuts from this country. One of Uruguay's most notable achievements in recent years has been its commitment to sustainability. The country has adopted policies to promote renewable energy, with more than 90% of its electricity coming from renewable sources such as wind and solar power. This commitment to the environment has placed Uruguay at the forefront of the energy transition in Latin America, making it an example for other countries in the region. The country has also advanced significantly in terms of connectivity and technology. Uruguay is known for having one of the highest internet penetration rates in the region, and the government has worked hard to ensure that even the most rural areas have access to the internet. This access to technology has been a key factor in the development of the country's digital economy, which has seen a boom in the number of tech startups and entrepreneurs who have found Uruguay a nurturing place to grow. Montevideo, in particular, has established itself as a major technology hub, attracting international investment and talent from around the world. In terms of education, Uruguay has achieved remarkable success by offering free, quality access to education at all levels. The public education system is considered one of the best in the region, and the literacy rate is over 98%. In addition, the government has implemented several initiatives to improve science, technology, engineering, and mathematics (STEM) education, which is preparing new generations for the challenges of the future. The University of the Republic, the country's main public university, is recognized for its academic excellence, and many of its research programs are at the forefront in areas such as biotechnology, renewable energy, and social sciences. Uruguay has also been a pioneer in the implementation of inclusive public policies and human rights. In 2013, it became the first country in Latin America to legalize marijuana, a move that was seen as a breakthrough in terms of drug policy and civil rights. Through a government-regulated system, Uruguay has managed to reduce the black market for marijuana and generate revenue for the state, all while promoting public health and safety. In fact, marijuana regulation has been part of a broader approach to improve the quality of life of citizens and promote social justice in the country. Tourism in Uruguay has also seen a boom in recent years, with international visitors attracted by its mix of natural landscapes, historic cities, and vibrant culture. Although Punta del Este remains one of the most popular destinations, other locations such as Colonia del Sacramento, a charming colonial town declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, have also gained notoriety. The Bay Islands, Cabo Polonio National Park, and the landscapes of the wine region in Canelones are also becoming alternative tourism destinations for those seeking a more authentic experience in contact with nature. If we talk about gastronomy, there is something that cannot be missed: mate. This infusion, made from yerba mate leaves, is the most traditional drink in Uruguay. Uruguayans drink mate at all hours of the day and everywhere, whether at home, at work, at the beach, or while walking around the city. Mate is not just a drink, but a symbol of social coexistence and tradition. Over the years, mate has become a central element of Uruguayan identity, being shared among friends, family, and even strangers. In addition, barbecues, another pillar of the local gastronomy, include all kinds of grilled meats, such as asado, which is a ritual in the country. Uruguay also has a rich tradition in cinema and literature. In cinema, the country has produced several films that have received international recognition, such as Whiskey, 2004, a film that stood out in international festivals and reflects with humor and melancholy the life of Uruguayans. In terms of literature, authors such as Mario Benedetti, Juan Carlos Onetti, and Eduardo Galeano have left a deep mark on world literature, addressing themes such as politics, identity, and daily life in Uruguay. Uruguayan's sense of community and hospitality is another characteristic that makes the country unique. Uruguayans are known for their friendliness and their willingness to welcome foreigners with open arms. This hospitality, combined with the security, tranquility, and relaxed atmosphere, makes living in Uruguay an exceptionally pleasant experience. The quality of life in the country is recognized worldwide, and Montevideo has repeatedly ranked as one of the lightest cities to live in Latin America. In short, Uruguay is a country with a vibrant identity, a rich history, and a culture that continues to evolve, maintaining a perfect balance between the traditional and the modern. From its beautiful beaches and natural landscapes to its focus on human rights and social welfare, Uruguay is much more than a small country in the southern cone. It is a model of development, an undiscovered tourist destination, and a place full of stories to tell. So, the next time you think of Uruguay, remember that this little giant continues to make its mark on the world, showing how a country with a relatively small population can achieve great things, always with a smile on its face and a mate in its hand. Uruguay is a country with a vibrant culture and rich tradition that is often overlooked, but certainly fascinating to explore. One of the most curious aspects of its culture is the presence of a mixture of influences from various parts of the world. Its history is marked by the arrival of European immigrants, especially from Spain and Italy, but also from other countries such as Germany, France, and Portugal. This diversity is reflected in the customs, gastronomy, and speech, with particularities that shape the Uruguayan identity. Despite the country's small population, its cultural identity is felt intensely and proudly, with a strong sense of belonging that unites Uruguayans. One of the most outstanding particularities is the Uruguayan accent and language. Although they share the same language as their neighbors, Spanish, the Uruguayan Rioplatense has a distinctive accent, influenced by Italian, which is heard especially in Montevideo and areas near the Rio de la Plata. One of the most interesting features of this accent is the use of vosio, which replaces to with vas. This changes the verb conjugation, and is a sign of cultural identity that Uruguayans maintain with pride. On a gastronomic level, Uruguay is famous for its meat, particularly its asado, which is not only a dish, but a social ritual. However, beyond the asado, Uruguayan gastronomy is surprisingly varied. One of the most loved dishes by Uruguayans is the chivito, a gigantic sandwich that usually includes beef, ham, cheese, mayonnaise, olives, and egg. It is considered the national dish, although its exact origin is uncertain, with some versions placing it in the restaurants of Punta del Este in the 1940s. Uruguayans are also big fans of empanadas, which vary according to the region, but are always delicious. Dulce de leche is another mainstay of the cuisine, present in countless desserts, such as chocotortas or alfajores, which are often accompanied with mate, Uruguay's traditional drink. Mate, which is not just a drink but almost a ritual, is so integral to the Uruguayan way of life that it has become a symbol of sociability and community. Uruguayans drink mate everywhere, at the beach, at the office, on the street, and even on public transportation. In fact, Uruguayans are known to have an almost intimate relationship with mate, always carrying it with them. The process of sharing a mate with friends or family is an essential part of social life in the country, and often becomes an excuse to talk about everything from politics to soccer to everyday events. Candom, one of Uruguay's most emblematic music and dance forms, is also a vital component of the country's culture. Its origins date back to colonial times, when African slaves brought their musical traditions to the shores of the Rio de la Plata. Candom is a mixture of African rhythms with Spanish influences and is played mainly on large drums known as tambores de candom. Its presence is so significant that in Montevideo, candom is especially celebrated during Carnival, one of the longest and richest festivities in the region. Although the Uruguayan Carnival is known for its durability, it is candom that takes the spotlight, with colorful parades invading the city streets during the festivities. A rather interesting curiosity about Uruguay is its love of sports, beyond soccer. Although soccer is the national sport par excellence, Uruguay also has a great tradition in other sports. Rugby, for example, is very popular, and the country has a national team that participates in international tournaments, such as the Rugby World Cup. The country also has a growing interest in beach soccer and field hockey, and in recent years has increased its participation in water sports, thanks to its extensive Atlantic coastline. However, soccer continues to be the sport that arouses most passions, and the Uruguayan national team has been one of the most successful in the world. In this sense, Uruguay has had great achievements, such as winning the first World Cup in 1930 and the historic Maracanazo of 1950, when they beat Brazil in the World Cup final at the legendary Maracana Stadium. As you have seen, Uruguay is a country full of surprises, with a rich culture, a unique lifestyle and social advances that have placed it at the forefront in many areas. From its deep-rooted traditions to its innovations in sustainability and technology, the land of the East has a lot to offer, and every corner of this wonderful country deserves to be discovered. If you have been surprised by all that Uruguay has to offer, imagine how many more secrets and curiosities we can explore together. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the World in Evolution channel to continue discovering fascinating stories from around the world. Also, we invite you to visit our website selfmatamillionaires.online, where you will find exclusive content on how to improve your life and finances in a self-taught way. Join our community and keep evolving with us.